And talking about nightmares, Ukraine is staring at one. Russia is planning a dangerous escalation. It wants to strike Ukraine hard and to punish it for the recent humiliation in Crimea. The threat is on two fronts: Ukraine's northern border with Belarus and at Europe's largest nuclear plant in Zaporizhia. The war in Ukraine, as we've been telling you, is taking a dangerous turn. In the next few minutes, we'll tell you how. First, the threat from Belarus. Russia could launch a fresh attack from there. A build-up is underway. Reports say Russia is stockpiling missiles in the north. Where exactly? The Ziabrovka airfield. Why is this worrying? Because this airfield is barely 24 kilometers away from the Ukraine border. Ukraine's Minister of Internal Affairs says Russia is stockpiling surface-to-air missile systems in Belarus. What happens if Russia decides to use them? Ukraine will be under attack from three sides. Let's pull up the map again. The war in Ukraine is being fought on two flanks right now, the east and the south. Ukrainian and Russian fighters are locked in a fierce battle in these two regions, the east and the south. What happens if Russia begins firing missiles from the north? Ukraine's forces are already stretched. With another front open, they'll struggle to defend themselves. And there is a high risk of escalation. It could happen as soon as next week. Why next week? Because Ukraine's Independence Day is coming. It falls on the 24th of August. It was on this day, 24th of August, that Ukraine split from the erstwhile Soviet Union. Well, this time no celebrations are planned, but it will still be a state holiday, and that's when Russia is believed to be planning to strike. Reports say Belarus could be the launch pad for this offensive. Ukraine's defense forces have issued a statement. In fact, I have a copy with me. This is a statement from the spokesperson of Ukraine's Air Force Command, and here is what he said. Let me remind you that it was its territory that Russia used from the first days of the full-scale invasion and launched strikes from there with various weapons. Airplanes, Iskander, Tochkayu missiles. Therefore, we must definitely be prepared for possible missile strikes. And why just missile strikes? Ukraine is worried about fighters from Belarus joining the war. There is a build-up near Ukraine's border in the north. An independent watchdog has spotted fighters in two districts, the Kobrin and the Biaroza districts. And this comes as no surprise. Belarusian forces have been conducting combat readiness drills. Their leader, President Alexander Lukashenko, was building up a military unit. The focus of this unit was the Ukraine border. Belarus is a strong ally of Russia, remember. It has allowed Moscow to launch attacks into Ukraine before, and it could happen again. More worrying, though, are Russia's activities in the south. Russian forces control a nuclear plant there in Zaporizhia. It is caught in a dangerous crossfire between Russian and Ukrainian troops. The world is raising an alarm. The threat of a nuclear disaster looms. We've been telling you about this for a while. Today, Russia issued a statement. It said the constant shelling has damaged the plant. Its backup support systems have been affected. Now, it's not clear how serious this damage is. The United Nations has been pushing for access. It wants inspectors from the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, to travel to Ukraine and make an assessment. The IAEA is the global nuclear watchdog. The United Nations also wants this area to be demilitarized, but Russia has rejected the idea.
Kyiv has repeatedly demonstrated its ability to stage provocations and its lack of ability to control nationalist formations. This is the same reason why the proposals to demilitarize the zone around Zaporizhia nuclear plant are unacceptable. The implementation of these proposals will make the station even more vulnerable.
There is a proposal to hand the plant back to Ukraine, but Moscow is unlikely to agree. It has already suffered embarrassment in Crimea. Two Russian bases there were severely damaged in a series of explosions. Russia will make no concessions after this setback. It is blaming saboteurs and pro-Ukrainian fighters for the attacks. Kyiv refuses to take responsibility. And now reports say that the US too is backing this offensive. The US has been boosting Ukraine's firepower. The latest addition is radar-busting missiles. And what is that? These are missiles that can detect and destroy enemy radars, air defense systems, and communications networks. Basically, anything with a radio signal can be destroyed. These radar-busting missiles are helping Ukraine make territorial gains. But Russia now plans to hit back, and with Ukraine's Independence Day approaching, there is threat of a serious escalation. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.